This month's golf tip is on faults and fixes. This comes from a student of mine by the name of Fred Grafton, who asked me to do this. I do this in golf school where I intentionally hit some bad shots and get the students to tell me what I did wrong and how to correct it. And what this does is it helps them diagnose their problems when they're practicing by themselves. So I'm going to first hit a pitch shot here that is with the correct form. So you can see I've got my weight over on my left side, I've got the shaft leaning forward, and then I'm going to take this back to about a 9 o'clock position, and when I come through I want to control this all with my body rotation. You can see the hip will be pulling, the left side's pulling through, that way the hands are always leading. Club head never passes the hands. When I come through here, I'm letting that right hand cross over the left. My eyes are staying down. The left arm is staying straight. I've maintained my spine angle. All my weight is through on my front, and I finish with my arms extended out in front of me. So that is the correct form for a pitch shot. Alright, now I'm going to hit an intentional bad shot, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the shot a little fat. So we all tend to sometimes hit the ball a little bit behind the ball, and I want you to see the club's going to hit the ground a little bit behind the ball. See, there's the ball is right here. You can see I scuffed good 2 inches behind it there. There's a little bit of a chunky divot, and that ball didn't go very far, and I finish about there. Now, we've all hit that shot from time to time. The important thing is when you hit it is to make the correct diagnosis. So have a look at the correct motion, and when I come through, have a look at the difference in the finish with the hips. You can still see my belt buckle there, so I haven't really cleared my left side. I haven't turned, that back foot is kind of hanging back. Here the back foot's up more on the toe, and my belt buckle is through to the target. So the way that you prevent hitting the fat shot, and this would apply in your full swing as well, is weight shift and body rotation. You get that body rotating. When the body rotates, it keeps the hands ahead of the club head, and you'll never hit the ball fat if you start your downswing with your left side and not with your arms. The next irritating shot on the golf course is when you catch the ball thin. You hit it low with the bottom of the club and it goes shooting across the green, or even worse, maybe into a hazard. So watch as I play this intentional bad shot, and as I come into the ball, notice how my left arm is broken down. So watch how the ball is shooting off very low, but I've totally collapsed my left arm here. So again, if you have a look at when I have the correct form, that left arm stays perfectly straight. So at impact, again, I'm controlling where the bottom of my arc is. If I pull my arm in, the bottom of my arc is a little higher than when I started at address. So this distance here is now a little shorter than that distance there, and so I'm going to catch it and blade it. And the way to tell whether you've done it or not is on your follow through. If you finish with your arms nice and extended, you've done it correctly. If you finish with that left arm broken down a little bit, then you're going to tend to hit it thin. There's a second way of hitting the ball thin. I can keep my arm perfectly straight, but I'm going to put a line above my head here. You'll see if I allow my head to raise up, again I'm going to catch the ball. I've come up, so even though my arm is straight, the bottom of my arc is higher because I raised my head. So I'm not going to catch the ball at the bottom of the arc. I'm going to catch it halfway up, and again you can see the trajectory is low. I sculled it. So even though I finished with my arm nice and extended, my head came up. I changed my spine angle here, the head stays down, and when I finish I'm still in my spine angle rather than standing up. So the thin shot can be either collapsing the left arm or standing up. If your shot tends to go a little bit to the right and weak, and this again applies to your full swing, what will happen is there's no release. You leave the club face open and you let this right hand stay under. The right hand has to cross over the left. You can see here this ball's now going very high. The trajectory is very high because the club face was open, and so it's going to go very high but not very far. So you're going to tend to come up way short of your target and usually a little bit to the right. So have a look at the hand position here. You can hardly see the glove at all. My right hand is crossed over my left, so I'm really letting that rotation as I come in here. I'm letting that right hand cross over the left. The back of the left wrist though stays flat, because when I finish, I want to finish with my arms extended and the club pointing to the target, because there's another way you can make this shot if it tends to go now to the left. So if you tend to pull your chips, then it's what I call the flip. See how I'm trying to turn my hands just to prevent the shot going to the right. So I'd let that right hand cross over, but I let the shaft go around me. So see how the club is pointing way now to the left, and that over rotation and the shaft pointing way to the left will cause me to pull the shot. And you can also see that my hips haven't turned. So remember, when you go through, let the club go to the target. Club head goes to the target. It's just like a little underhand throw. You want to throw the ball straight, your hand has to go through to the target. So there are some faults and fixes. Once again, here is the correct method for the pitch. Making sure the left arm stays straight, making sure the head stays still, making sure you start your downswing with your body rotation, making sure you get a release, and making sure you finish right down the line. When you finished your shot, your back foot should be up on the toe, no weight there at all. You should be able to pick up this back foot and not lose your balance. So if you're having problems with your pitching or your full swing, use those fixes to help improve your game.